Welcome. I'm Terry Rhodes, Vice President for Quality Curriculum and Assessment. Welcome to AAC&U's Next Generation Assessment Series on assessing student learning and institutional effectiveness. Today, hosts Tammie Cumming and David Miller speak with Catherine Wehlburg about measuring student learning with exams, what COVID-19 can teach us.
Welcome everyone to the AAC&U Web Bites. Today's topic is on formative assessment. I'm Tammie Cumming from Brooklyn College of the City University of New York, where I serve as Associate Provost and Assistant Vice President for Institutional Effectiveness.
And I'm Dave Miller. I'm the Director of the School of Human Development and Organizational Studies and a Professor of Research and Evaluation Methods at the University of Florida. And we're very excited today to have Dr. Catherine Wehlburg with us from Marymount University.
Well, thank you, and I'm very happy to be with you. I am currently serving as Dean for Sciences, Mathematics, and Education at Marymount, and prior to that, I've worked in roles as a Director of Institutional Effectiveness, and I've worked quite a bit with accreditation and assessment as a whole.
Well, thanks so much, Catherine, for joining us. We really appreciate you being a part of this new Web Bite series. For those of you who haven't participated before, this is a short message, about 5 minutes long, where you'll just get the answer to your direct question. And today we're going to talk about formative assessment. We have one of the great experts in this area. So again, Catherine, thank you for joining us. So the first question that I had, for those who aren't familiar with the terminology, is what is formative assessment? And can you talk a little bit about its relationship to what some call assignment alignment?
Absolutely. So the goal of formative assessment is really to provide feedback, and that feedback can go both to the faculty member so that the faculty member can make improvements in how they're teaching to impact learning, but it also can provide feedback to the learner. And this allows the learner to know where they are in relation to the overall learning goals of the course and specific learning goals of a particular assignment. And so formative assessment and alignment go hand in hand in that as a faculty member might be setting up a course and they want to say, here are the overall goals, the formative assessment aligns with those goals across the semester so that the student really understands why they're learning what they're learning and how much they're learning.
That's really helpful. And you know, I think that this is going to be helpful for the faculty at my campus as well, because I'm hearing a lot of dialogue and a lot of questions, emails, anxiety from the faculty saying, can I continue with formative assessment? Can I continue with assessment as usual? Because I'm concerned that the students are going to be anxious if I'm over assessing. Can you comment on that? And maybe David, you might have something to chime in as well from UF.
Sure. I think that we are really seeing some concerns of faculty who are wanting to not cause additional stress to students. During this quarantine and pandemic, we're all in a remote learning experience, and students don't always have access to the technology and the other tools that they might normally have. And so I have heard from many faculty who want to not add additional stress. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're measuring and assessing quality of learning. And we want to make sure that the students are able to demonstrate what they actually have learned in the course.
That's interesting. Thank you. It also seems to me like when I look at UF, a lot of us, that when we start with assessment, the first thing we always think about is the summative assessment. That's the natural function of assessment that people start with. So it's really good that we're talking about the formative assessment and the fact that faculty can learn as they go through the course about how things are going. One of the things that I think that is going to be interesting is even those who are using formative assessment effectively now is that we are moving to a new environment, and there's probably lots of new and different ways of collecting formative data that would be useful both to the faculty and to the students. So I was just wondering if you had some thoughts about some of the new and different ways that we can begin to collect formative information.
I think that one of the opportunities that we're facing right now is that we're forced and pushed a little bit to think outside the box, so that the things that we might have been that we might have used before when we were learning are not necessarily the things that are going to work now. For example, I have seen some incredibly exciting ways that faculty are assessing student learning by looking at things that use video. Every student has access to a cell phone practically. And so one of the things that we might be able to do is have students record their oral answers to open-ended questions, or to essentially do an interview where they are, through video, showing what they've learned and then uploading that video into a classroom. And I think that has been something that students have enjoyed doing, but it also allows the faculty to perhaps feel that they are not putting as much of a burden on those students. I've also seen things where faculty have assigned a project where students create a public service announcement, some kind of a short PSA where faculty give a prompt or a template or an issue, and students are having to translate what they've learned in the class into something that would be more easily digestible for people outside the class that didn't necessarily have that information before. And so that is something that has engaged students in what they've learned and really helped them to become educators in their own right by sharing these kinds of PSA announcements.
That's an exciting way of thinking about some of the things that we can do now. And I know that we're going to see lots of new ways of doing formative assessments, of course, with the almost forced movement to everything being on technology nowadays. And so I think it's going to be exciting to see what faculty are able to do with those kinds of opportunities.
Well, thanks so much, Catherine, for joining us. I know that you took time out of your busy day to be with us here and share your knowledge with our guests outside who are tuning in. And really, we appreciate your time and help on this issue.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Until next time.